everyone, welcome to another Finally Friday video. I'm starting out with this card that I've actually cut about a ½ inch off the front of the card, and you'll see why in a minute. It's because I have a little chipboard element that's going to kind of overhang the side. So anyway, I'm just rounding the corners with this Fisker's corner rounder punch. And then I'm going to be taking some pattern paper, and I'm just using just a dry tape runner adhesive just to apply the pattern paper. That seems to be the easiest. If you try liquid glue, sometimes it'll warp the paper, so using a dry adhesive is best. Here's some ribbon, and I'm just tying in a knot, and I thought I'd show you me tying it so you could get an example of how to tie a knot and have it turn over correctly so you don't see the little crunched up part of the knot. Here's that chipboard piece I was talking about. This is just a little scallop oval frame from Maya Road. And what I'm doing with this, I'm covering it with some chalk ink. You could use Maya Road's Maya Mist and spray it on there. It's a similar brown color. I just had this ink handy, so I thought I'd use it. Tracing the oval onto some vanilla cardstock. And that's so that I can take scissors and kind of trim around it. I'm leaving quite a bit of space on the outside of the pencil marks. That's so that I can take some glue and glue it to the chipboard piece when I'm ready. Here's a stamp set by Hero Arts. This is the Thoughtful Messages stamp set. And I'm just stamping this Enjoy Every Moment sentiment. I'm going to put a little bit off to the left side of the oval. And then, let's see, I'm trying to think of what I'm doing next. Oh, I'm erasing the pencil marks around the inside. And then I wanted to decorate the chipboard piece a little bit more. So I took this wood grain circle stamp from Hero Arts, and I'm inking it up with Versamark. And I'm going to be doing some embossing, so I'm using a Versamark ink. When you want to emboss, you want to use an ink that's going to stay wet or sticky for at least a few minutes so that you have time to put the embossing powder on. So I'm using clear Versamark over top of the brown ink that I put on the chipboard. And then this is some clear embossing powder. And this is the way I store my embossing powder. I put it in like a little plastic container with a spoon, and that's so that I don't have to clean it up every time I use it. It seems to work a bit better. Here I'm heating it up, and I sped this up quite a bit. Your embossing powder will not melt that quickly. It was kind of long and drawn out, so I thought I'd speed it up. And here I'm using some Tombow Mono multi-adhesive. You could use any liquid glue for this to adhere the chipboard. And as far as chipboard goes, a liquid glue or like a mini glue dot or a Zots or whatever is best for adhering it. And that's because chipboard is basically just layers and layers and layers of paper. And usually like a dry adhesive will just tear off that one layer of the chipboard and not really adhere anything. This is a flower and button little container from Making Memories, and I'm just picking out some buttons. Thought I might use a flower but decided against it. So I'm using these buttons, and that brown button is actually really cool looking. It almost has some wood grain texture to it, so I thought it'd be kind of nice along with the wood grain that I stamped on the frame. And I'm adhering these with mini glue dots. And the last part of this card is I'm just taking some foam mounting adhesive, and I put it on the back of the oval piece and then adhering it to the card. And that pretty much finishes up the card for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions at all, leave them over at the Garden Girls blog, and I'll get to them when I can. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next week.